Good morning, everyone.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Due to COVID-19, Committee of Adjustment public hearings are being conducted virtually by electronic means through WebEx, an online digital platform, and streamed on the Toronto City Planning YouTube channel. Participants who have registered in advance will be able to make their presentations to the committee using WebEx webinar, which is moderated by city staff. Anyone wishing to view the hearing may do so by watching on YouTube. My name is Isaac Lalouz, and members with me today are Ms. Atarodi, Ms. Manning, Mr. Hunt, and Mr. Khan. City staff assisting us and moderating the city platform are Mr. Simon Lamb, who is Deputy Secretary Treasurer, Brandon Clapp, and Alex Chu. Participants who have registered in advance will be connecting by their computer, tablet, smartphone, or telephone and have the option of participating via video or audio only. All participants are automatically muted on entry. When your item is called, each participant will be unmuted by the moderator, one person at a time. We ask that you also mute your devices until you call on to speak. Those participating by video appearance will be temporarily upgraded to panelists when your item is being held. During this time, your camera will be enabled and you will only be visible during your 5-minute allocated time. At all other times, your video will be disabled and you'll be reinstated as an attendee. Committee of Adjustment staff will share presentations submitted in accordance with the written submission deadline. Members of the public and participants are not allowed to use share screen or any other panelist control during the video appearance. The host will remove you from the panelist role if you fail to respect this instruction. For land acknowledgement, we acknowledge the land we are meeting on is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit. In accordance with Section 45 and 53 of the Planning Act 1990 as amended, this meeting of the Committee of Adjustment of the City of Toronto is called to order. The Committee of Adjustment considers applications for variances from the provision of the zoning bylaw, permission to extend or alter legal non-conforming uses, and consent to sever property to create new lots. Anyone in attendance today who wants to receive a copy of the decision of the committee on an application must submit a written request for a decision by email. Please ensure that you include your name, address, and email address because the Committee of Adjustment and TLAB will be sending notifications and appeal updates by email only. If you do not agree with the decision of the committee, you may be able to appeal the decision of the Toronto Local Appeal Body, TLAB, or in some limited circumstances to the Ontario Land Tribunal, OLT. However, the provincial government recently amended the Planning Act and generally removed the rights of third parties to appeal Committee of Adjustment's decisions. As of November 28, 2022, only the appellant, the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, specified people, and public bodies as those terms as defined in the Planning Act are permitted to appeal decisions of the Committee of Adjustment. Appeal instructions are set out at the bottom of the decision of the committee. The hearing procedures today will be as follows. I will call each item in the order listed on the agenda. Where an application is uncontested, the agent or applicant may proceed with their presentation if desired. When the committee does not require presentation, applicants are to advise the chair should they wish to speak to the committee. The committee may ask questions or take the matter directly for a decision. Each speaker, including the applicant agent, will be given a maximum of 5 minutes to address the committee. I will comment when the 5-minute mark is reached. When addressing the committee, please clearly state your name and address and please remember to confine your remarks to the matters outlined in the application. The applicant or agent will proceed first and will make a presentation. Please note that the committee may not entertain revisions to proposals at the hearing today. The committee may decide to defer the application if substantially revised. To ensure the revised application is accurate and that all those entitled to receive a notice are informed of the changes. Then individuals either in support or in opposition to the application will be invited to speak. Committee members may ask questions of each speaker at the end of their presentation. When all speakers are finished, the applicant agent has the chance to address only those issues that were raised by the speakers. This will mark the end of the discussion, and the application will then be taken into committee for a decision. Now, for this morning's session, we're having some minutes of approval.
That's right, Mr. Chair. For February 9th, 2022.
Yeah, I got them. Okay. I have February 9, 2022. We have Mr. Khan and Mr. Hunt. They were in that hearing. Can I have a motion to approve those meetings? Mr. Khan, yes. Second.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning. I would like to move that minutes of February 9, 2022 be adopted as circulated.
Thank you. Second, Mr. Hunt, and that's the only two. So the staff February 9, 2022 minutes are now adopted. The next set is February 24, 2022. There is Ms. Atarodi, Ms. Manning, and myself. Could I have a motion to approve the minutes, please? Ms. Manning or Mr. Atarodi? Ms. Atarodi, second. Second, Ms. Manning, yeah? Seconding, thank you. All in favor? Okay, the minutes of February 24, 2022 are now adopted. Next set is April 28, 2022. Again, there is Ms. Atarodi, Ms. Manning, and myself. Can I have a motion there, please? Ms. Manning, second. Ms. Atarodi, all in favor? Okay. Staff, the minutes of April 28, 2022 are now approved. Okay, now the next, I'd like to ask for this morning session only. For this morning session only, members and staff, any conflict of interest to declare? No? Okay. So we're going to proceed with the applications, and for this morning we don't have any deferral, and we'll proceed with application number 1, which is 515 Broadway Avenue, and here we have Mr. Maher Manyos. Are you there?
Good morning, Mr. Chair.
Hi. Could you please state your name and address for the records here?
Sure. Maher Manius, number 1 Teakwood Grove, Toronto, N3B 2H9. I'm acting as agent for the owner.
Thank you. We have here, this is for a new dwelling. We have 3 variances. Forestry condition number 3. We have 5 letters of support, and we have 1 only objection. So, since we have 2 more, 1 more person to speak, we'd like you to make, please, your 5-minute presentation. Then we proceed with the speaker.
Sure, Mr. Chair. If staff could be kind enough to put up the presentation material that we submitted, and to scroll to the streetscape. I think it's the 5th page, if I'm not mistaken. That's the one. Yes, that elevation, not the picture, the one above it, please. The streetscape. Yes, thank you. So yes, proposal is for a new 2-story dwelling to replace the existing 1-story. We do have 3 variances under bylaw 569. and also 1277 that was just passed last December. Variances 1 and 2 pertain to the wall height and the roof height. We're proposing 8.89 versus 8.5 and 7.82 versus 7 meters. As you can see from the streetscape, the elevation of the proposed house it's a contemporary design with a very shallow pitched roof, which was done in order to reduce the massing and impact of the house on the streetscape. And we've shown the adjoining neighbors just to give an idea of massing and how it compares to them in regards to height. The summit of the house has been placed right above the second floor windows, as you can see, which are only 6'8" high. The roof will be 7 centimeters lower than the east neighbor, which is to your left. And we got those numbers by having the surveyors shoot the elevations of the roofs and soffits of the neighboring houses. As mentioned, the roof pitch is very shallow at 612 versus the east neighbor at 2012 and the west neighbor at 1212. And I know there's an issue with the west neighbor and the letter of concern regarding their solar panels on their east roof. As you can see, we've noted on this elevation an as of right roof line. So if we were to comply with the 7-meter wall height and the 8.5 building height, and we go to the similar pitch as the east neighbor, the impact is almost the same. And we did provide them with an angle of the sun at mid-morning, which shows it sort of captures the bottom 12 inches of the solar panels. I think this is sort of an unattainable situation where the east neighbor has elected to put panels on the east side, assuming about the existing house, which is about 8 years old, will remain for 20 years. It's just, I don't think there's going to be a loss of what they're mentioning about the 30%, but in any case, a development was going to happen sooner or later. To assume it wasn't going to happen for 20 years, I think it's a bit far-fetched. We're not asking for any side yard setback variances, so the house complies with the side yard, and it's a little bit further away from what's allowed to be. Variance number 3 pertains to the FSI or GFA. We're proposing 0.6 versus allowable 0.45. This area of North Lee side is a bit of an anomaly with the 0.45 zone. It's sort of surrounded all around with 0.6 zone, and we still understand the reason behind this. We don't see any rhyme or reason. The lot sizes are very similar all in most of North Lee side. For some reason, when the old bylaw was written, the 1918, they had this 0.45 zone. We've submitted 4 pages of previous decisions. This is at the low end of what's been approved in the past. Most of them are in the higher 0.6 zone. And just to give you an idea about the scale of the house complies with side yard setback, front yard setback. The rear yard is 18 meters versus the allowable 10. Coverage is at 30% versus the allowable 35. And the building depth is just over 15 meter versus the allowable length and depth of 17 and 19 meter. And as Mr. Chair noted, we do have 5 letters of support, including the east neighbor. We have been in communication with community planning, and we do have an email from them that we received on March 15, noted that they had no concern. Hence, there was no staff report submitted as part of this application, and we have no objection to forestry condition number 3 if the committee sees fit to approve the application. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Okay, we have, we'll bring you back. We have here somebody registered. Mr. Moderator, is there anybody online? We have here Thomas, you, and Sandra Haynes.
Yes, I can speak to that. We're the east neighbor at 517 Broadway. I think we had highlighted in our note that we were still in discussions.
Who's speaking?
With the. Oh, sorry. This is Thomas Yo.
Actually, yeah. Could you please stay? First of all, just for the records here to be recorded on the system, could you please state your name and address for us?
Yes, it's Thomas Yo, and my wife Sandra Haynes and I live at 517 Broadway Avenue, which is the east neighbor.
Thank you. So tell us.
And we did.
Okay, tell us what's your concern about this application.
Yeah, I was going to say we submitted. We put in a written submission last week. We did note that we may have some concern with the back terrace, but we've agreed with the neighbors. They've agreed to plant cedars that will address our privacy concerns. So on that basis, we've got no further objection or concern with the plan.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, any question for this speaker? No? Okay, so Mr. Manios, could you come back, please, and see and wrap it up so we see if there are any questions?
Yeah, sure. So yes, I know my client has discussed with the east neighbor, Mr. Yo, regarding the cedars to create a landscape buffer screening between the two houses for the benefit of both my client and Mr. Yo. And I think they have an email correspondence to that effect. And also there was an issue about location of windows on the side of the house. We had shown their windows imposed on ours to show that there's no overlap, plus all windows on the side of the house because they're in the bathrooms and in a staircase. So we also agreed to having translucent glass there as well. So there would be no overlook or privacy issues.
Very good.
And happy to answer any questions from committee.
Okay, yeah, I saw his letter. He's supporting it with the three conditions. So you addressed it and see if the members have any question for you. Any question, members? No. If not, can I have a motion then, please? Ms. Atarodi?
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair, I would like to put forward a motion to approve this application subjected to urban forestry condition.
Thank you. Second? Mr. Hunt, seconding. All in favor? Unanimous. Okay, thank you. Sir, your application is unanimously approved, subject to
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
forestry. Next is application number 2, which is 74 Glenrush Boulevard, application number 2. And here we have Richard Idels. Are you there?
I am, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, please just your name and address so it can be recorded on the system, please.
Richard Idels, 80 North Meadow Crescent, Thornhill, Ontario.
Okay, so we have here is an addition and parking modifications, 6 variances. Transportation has no objection, just the conditions. Forestry, we have condition 1 and 20 letters of support. So could you please make a small presentation and cover the variance that has 40% lot coverage? Could you please cover that one as well?
Okay, I will. Can I start by saying that I'm also representing another application in this hearing, and I was going to defer, but I wasn't given a chance. Are you supposed to defer in the beginning?
Excuse me, could you please be clear? We're in application number 2, which is 74 Glenrush. Do you want to defer this one?
No. There's an application. Isn't there, excuse me for just sidelining a second.
No,
usually we start the meeting with deferrals. And I have another job that is being deferred, but I wasn't given.
No, sir. We have a method how we operate. This morning we have
I see.
deferrals. In the afternoon, deferrals will take care of them.
No, it's not this afternoon.
If the application you're talking about is listed in the afternoon, then we don't deal with it now.
No. It's listed in this morning,
Which
Mr. Chairman.
Which one is that?
It's 53 Covington Road.
Mr. Chair, did the applicant make a formal request with respect to the deferral for item number 17? Because if he did not, then obviously we wouldn't
Which
hear
number
it.
is that?
It's item number 17.
17. Well, sir,
Through Jenny Costas.
Mr. Idel, could you please hold 1 second? Could you please try not to confuse us, okay? We have number 2, we're dealing with it. When we get to the ones that you want to defer, when we get to this, by the order, then we'll ask you, and at that time you can defer it. We defer the application.
Okay, thank you.
For only if you made the request.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. All right. just a brief explanation of what we're asking for. The main reason for this whole addition is that there is a family member, sister of the mother, who is wheelchair bound, and she is in need of accessibility. This was the cause of the whole thing. And her parents are retiring. Her father is a well-known educator in town, very well-known, and her parents are retiring. So now she will be living at different, I guess, siblings' homes, on a rotation basis. So this is one of the homes she's living on. So what they did was on the floor plan, on the ground floor plan, which just to explain, the existing family room has become a guest room, which is for her. And therefore, they needed a family room, so we added a family room to the front of the house. In order to get a minimum family room and to get a minimum living accommodation, which is really just, a bedroom and a bathroom. So we had to go above coverage. But we did our due diligence, and we found within the 500-meter area, there are actually 10 examples of homes which were allowed over 40%, or around 40, but over 40. So we felt justified in doing that. Again, it's because of the accessibility issue. Once we did that, once we had what was needed, so then we put bedrooms on the second floor because it's still a young family and it's a growing family. Just to go through the variances very quickly, and then I want to speak about the condition by department. So, one moment. Most of them we believe are minor. The front number one, the first variance is because it's an existing condition. That's the height of the front porch. It's an existing condition because we're just adding to an existing house. Number two is also elevation. It's minimum, and it's because of existing. Number three is the percentage of coverage, which we just spoke about. Number four is the length. The length also is an outcome of this need to have a bedroom for for this family member. She's a young woman, by the way. She's probably in her 20s or 30s by now, something like that. And that's why we asked. There are 7 examples of similar building lengths that were allowed within the area. Number 5, the fifth variance is the setback. We believe it's minor, and that also for the same reason, and the parking space. So what I'd like to explain is that we understand it was sort of a last minute. Last week, the planning department sent their comments to the owner. And the comment basically is that right now they have a double car garage. In order to fit what we needed to fit on the ground floor, we had to eliminate one of the garages, and therefore the driveway became much narrower than it is. That's fine on our property. The city property does have a wider driveway because the existing double garage allows for it. But when they sent us, it's actually a woman by the name of Marilyn Lewis in the traffic department. We wanted to discuss it with her because we have the accessibility problem. When this little girl comes in a special truck, she needs room to get out of the truck, and we've limited the width of the driveway. We would like to be able to speak with traffic department to see if they would be kind enough to leave the existing driveway and the curb cut, which is wider, in order to accommodate the needs of the family. But she went on vacation. Marilyn went on vacation. We tried to reach out to her upper levels, and we didn't get any answers. So she's supposed to be back next week. I would just like the opportunity to be able to have a dialogue with the transportation department and see if there's some accommodation that can be done to either allow the curb cut the way it is, or something similar in order to accommodate the needs of what we have to do in the house. That's all I have to say.
Okay, that's it. You're into your 5 minutes. Okay. Members, any question for this speaker? If there is no question, Ms. Sataro, do you have a question?
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair. The question is that just want to know if he had a chance to read the transportation memo, and because listening to his comment, he just explained that why he just changed the driveway, and definitely if we tie it to the transportation memo, that just want to know if it's okay with them or with him or not.
Well, if I could respond to that, and that is that we would like to be able to, transportation says, but they haven't heard the reason why, they haven't spoken with us why we would like to keep it the way it is, because she's on vacation. So if the condition is, according to now this is for you to interpret, obviously, but what I would think is we will abide by whatever it is they come up, but we just want them to have a chance to hear why we are opposing what they're asking for, and hopefully they're going to agree. And whatever, either they will agree or won't agree, but we're not going to oppose what their comments are. So if the condition can be according similarly to I think it's a similar situation. I think, again, I'm asking, when we go to forestry, it's subject to their conditions, whatever their conditions are. So that's what I was hoping, that would be the same thing with transportation, and not tied specifically to the exact wording that that they've asked for at this point, because maybe they'll change when they hear the reason why.
Okay, thank you. Any other question? Mr. Hunt?
By the way, there's one other thing I didn't mention. The house is on a
Sir.
The house is on the street.
Sir, hello, hold a
Yes.
second. We'll ask you if we need more explanation. Mr. Hunt, did you have a question?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, just further to my colleague's comment, if you read carefully the subject to by transportation, who state they have no objection, it says that all portions of the existing site access driveways that are no longer required must be closed. And from what I heard the applicant say, that it is required because they have a physically challenged situation that requires that wider driveway. So I'm not sure why this notation would be problematic.
Well, there is a condition, transportation condition. So the transportation said no objection, but they have conditions. They'll have to deal with the transportation for the conditions. They have to meet the conditions, whatever they are. So
yes, right, and that's.
You're okay with that?
It's the condition. It's the condition I'm speaking to, where it says that it needs closure if they're no longer required, and apparently it is required. So I believe that there's nothing there that says it must be closed. It should be closed if they're no longer required.
Okay. Do you have a question for the speaker? Is that a question for the speaker?
Yeah, the question is, why is this a problematic notation?
Mr. Adel, could you please respond to that question?
Mr. Hunt, I hope you're right. Like I said, and then she went on vacation, so there was no one to speak to. They don't realize that in our opinion, there is a reason to keep it the way it is. They just don't know that. So when she comes back, I will be in discussion with her, and hopefully she will agree that there is. But I understand that, right? I hope that they will agree that this is a condition that not to destroy the existing driveway. And we're speaking about the driveway on the city property. Obviously, it has nothing to do with our property.
Okay, any other question? Can I have a motion then, please? Anyone for a motion? Mr. Khan, please go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. After listening to the applicant as well as the other in opposition, and realizing all these six variances and transportation having no objection, I move, and there is no staff recommendations, I move this application be approved with forestry conditions.
And transportation condition, there is a transportation condition there.
Yes,
Yeah,
thank
you
you.
said it, okay, sorry, thank you. Okay, so your motion is to approve the application subject to forestry and subject to transportation, is that correct?
Correct, sir.
Okay, do you have a second? Second, please. No second? Okay. Can I have another motion then? Mr. Hunt?
Question, Mr. Chair. Is it appropriate to suggest to the applicant that they defer this to ensure that they're satisfied with the position of transportation, notwithstanding transportation's non-objection?
Well, I guess we can do anything we feel appropriate. We hate to defer application after we all heard it, but if that's what the motion is, see if it takes off. Do you want to defer the application?
Well, I'll make that motion that we defer this to allow the applicant to clarify with transportation what the exact requirement is with respect to the existing curb cut and driveway, given circumstances out that he identified in his presentation.
Okay, do I have a second? There is no second. Okay, Ms. Tarodi, is that a second or something else?
Yes, I seconded.
You seconded. Okay, so we have 1, 2, all in favor? Okay, opposed? Mr. Khan is opposing, and it's Mr. Hunt is Sunny Day, right? Is Sunny Day?
Yes, thank you, sir.
Okay, so, sir, your application is deferred Sunny Day. After you speak to the transportation, then you have to come back here, okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next is number 3, which is 199 Glengrove Avenue, application number 3, and here we have Addison Mine Price. Are you there?
Yes, good morning, Mr. Chair and
Yeah.
fellow committee members. My name is Addison Milne Price. I'm a planner of Design Plan Services located at 900 The East Mall, Suite 300.
Thank you. So this is a two-story addition. We have just 3 variances, 3 letters of objection, and 5 letters of support in 1 petition. Now we have one more person here to speak, and therefore we need you to make, please, a presentation, your 5-minute allocation. Okay?
Absolutely, thank you. Before I begin, I would like to briefly address the public notice. Variance 3 on the public notice states that the proposed east side yard setback is proposed at 0.71 meters. It is actually the west side yard setback that is proposed at 0.71 meters. The east side yard setback is compliant with the zoning bylaw requirement.
Just a second. Are you changing the variance? What variance you said?
So it's with respect to variance 3.
Variance 3, okay.
And it is only a correction of the side. The variance bylaw section is correct.
The required minimum side setback is 0.9 and yeah, I don't know.
And the proposed side yard setback is 0.71 meters as on the public notice. However, the public notice states that the proposed east side yard setback is 0.71.
It said east side. Do you want to change it or what?
Yes, I would like to change it to the proposed west side yard setback.
No, I don't think we can do that. No, because if you change the side, then there may be some other objections or whatever. It has to be published that way. If it's published east, we cannot change it to the west. It has to be recirculated. You may have to defer the application for recirculation. Unless you leave it as east, you'll have to defer the application. We can't change the, there's certain things we can change, but this type we can't change. So.
I will point out that with respect to the side yard setback requirements, there is no requirement for a specific side yard, whether that be the north, east, west, or south. The side yard setback is always only relevant to a side yard setback or both side yard setbacks. The fact that in this case, the side yard setback is only to one side does not, in my opinion, affect the notice.
Yeah, no, we have, this is a very clear to us. If it's published as east, we cannot change it to the west, regardless of what you explain about the west side conditions. We have to, if you want to go ahead with east, we'll proceed. If you want to change it, we cannot change it. So, do you want to defer it or you want to go for it as east? We will not change it to the west.
Given that the variance is to the west side yard setback, if we were to achieve that variance or gain approval for that variance, that would not get approval for the plans proposed. If that is the case, then a deferral would be necessary.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we can't proceed with change to the west. So, members, just a second. We have to, there is one more person here. Stanley Janicki, are you there? Stanley Janicek. Hello, Mr. Stanley Janicek, are you there? Can you please speak up? He's online, yeah? Okay, one more time. Stanley Janicek, are you there? That's the only one, eh? Oh no, there's one more. Okay, can we move to the next one? Peter Oliver, are you there? Peter Oliver?
Yes, we are here.
Okay,
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, could you please state your name and address for us?
My name is Peter Oliver. My wife, Rosenetti, and I live at 203 Glengrove Avenue West.
Thank you. Okay, so just to let you know, we're not going to discuss this application today. There's a mistake in the notice, and therefore we're deferring it, meaning we'll not discuss it today. We will discuss it when he comes back, and you'll be notified. Are you okay with that?
Yes, I'm okay with that. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. You'll be notified. Kadir Wahid, are you there? Kadir. Oh. Okay. Kadir Wahid, are you there?
This is
Okay,
Kadir
can you
Wahid.
please-
Can you hear me?
Can you please state your name and address for the records here?
Yeah, my name is Kadir Wahid, owner and resident of 201 Glengrove Avenue West. I believe the third variance that the applicant is referring to is in fact on our side. It says east.
Excuse me,
and they just
we don't want to discuss it. We want to defer
Sure.
it. we're just deferring it, which means we're not going to discuss it today. So,
Okay.
when it comes back, you will be notified when it's coming back. So
Okay,
so you're okay
is
with
there a choice? Like it's deferral or
defer? We're
no,
deferring.
I'm okay with deferral. Yeah. Yeah, I'm okay with deferral.
We're deferring the application until they correct the notice. Okay. Okay. Now.
Yep.
Now we go. Thank you. Now we go back to Stanley Janisek. Okay, Stanley Janisek, are you there? Stanley? Stanley Janisek.
Okay, Stanley, can you say your name and address, please?
Yeah. I should unplug this one because I'm hearing it twice. My name is Stanley Janacek. I live at 197 Glengrove Avenue West.
Thank you. Okay, now we will there is a motion here to defer the application, meaning we're not going to discuss it today. So you'll be notified when it's happened, okay?
There's no choice in the matter, Mr. Chairman, so obviously I agree with your decision.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so members, there is a... Thank you. Okay, members, can I have a motion to defer? Ms. Satarodi?
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair, I would like to put forward a motion to defer this application so the applicant can, so the city staff can modify the variance number 3 to change the typo corrected west side yard setback, sine die.
Thank you. Second? Second? Mr. Hunt seconding, all in favor? Okay, unanimous. Okay, sir, your application is deferred sine die, and check with the staff when it's coming back.
Thank you.
Okay. Application number 4, which is 121 Dawlish Avenue, application number 4, 121. And here we have Stephen King. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, could you please state your name and address, please?
Yes, Stephen King. I'm the architect for the owners. 118 Balliol Street, Unit 701.
Thank you. We have here, it's an addition with 4 variances. Nobody else is registered. Members, do we need a presentation here? No? Okay, sir, we don't need the presentation. Do you want to add something before we move to committee?
No, it's just a minor proposal in keeping with the area, and the variances are minor. So as long as nobody's opposed, I don't think I need to make a presentation.
Thank you. Thank you. Members, any question, or can I have a motion then, please? Mr. Khan?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have a question for the applicant through you, sir.
Yes.
My question is about variance number 3. Since the platform is 16.23 meters square, it's a large balcony or a platform. So my concern is, has the applicant taken care of the noise and the privacy of the neighbor?
Well, they already have a balcony that's that size, so they basically just want to move it forward. and there hasn't been any problems with the balcony that way. And the neighbors haven't objected, so it's also it's not that high up really. It's higher than the 4 feet, so we need the area, but it's not it's not way up in the air in the second floor or something. So it's basically they already have a balcony that size, but because of the addition, it's going where the balcony is. They just want to maintain that space.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Can I have a motion then, please? Ms. Tarodi?
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair. This is a very straightforward application. Therefore, I would like to put forward a motion to approve this application with no condition.
Thank you. Second? Yeah, both of you at the same time. Can I have a second, one at a time? Miss Manning, seconding. All in favor? Unanimous. Okay, sir, your application is approved and there is no conditions.
Okay, thank you very much. Have a good day.
You too. Thank you. Application number 5, which is 88 Lawrence Crescent. Application number 5, and here we have Mehdi Ajvand. Are you there?
Hi, my name is Nushin Mozaffari from Hyphen Studio, representing the case.
Okay, you're the agent, right?
Yes, I'm the agent on behalf of the owner of 88 Lawrence Crescent.
Thank you. This is for a new dwelling. We have 8 variances. The staff report asked for modification. You wanted to make the modifications for variances 5 and 6. And we have 1 letter of objection. Now, so 2 things. One is we have 1 more speaker, and therefore we need you to make presentation. Secondly, tell us exactly what you're changing in variance number 5 and 6 so we can move on.
Okay.
So please tell us what you're changing and make a small presentation.
Sure. The improvements that we've made to the case, first of all, is variance number 4 is eliminated.
Okay.
Variance number 6 is reduced to 19 meter.
Okay.
And variance number 7 is reduced to 19.5.
Okay.
The numbers in the planner report is different with the public notice. What I mentioned is based on the public notice. So it's the same, the reduction of the building length and depth to 19 and 19.5 meter, which is variance number 6 and 7 on the zoning, on the public notice.
Okay. So let's go slowly. You're eliminating number 4. You're changing number 6 to 19 and number 7 to 19.5. The staff mentioned also variance number 5. Are you doing anything about that?
Variance number 5 that she is mentioning is the same, is actually variance number 6 in the public notice.
Okay.
So
you mean they meant to say 6, they said 5. Okay. All right. Okay, so please go ahead and make your presentation.
Okay, the application is very straightforward. We are asking for basically 7 variances. If I want to give you a brief explanation, variance number on 5 are for the height of the porch and first floor to be slightly more than what the bylaw allows. Variance number 2 is regarding the deck's projection. And this is because the natural grade has a very deep slope toward the backyard, so the height of the deck is higher than 1.25 meter from the ground, and the deck projection is a variance. Variance number 3 is for the canopy that is covering the first 2 steps in addition to the front porch. Variance numbers 6 and 7 are for the length and depth, which are reduced to 19 and 19.5 meter in back and forth with the planning. And variance number 8 is for the FSI, which is very similar to the other approved cases in the neighborhood, and the planning is supporting that proposal. Also, I should mention that the actual FSI is 55%, but 2 extra percentage is added because of the excessive area of the garage. And that's all. I would be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Okay, now we have, we'll be back to you because we have one more speaker here. John McEwen, are you there?
Mr. Chair, he is not present. Staff have tried to reach out.
No. Okay.
Yeah, we've tried calling Mr. McEwen. No
Okay.
answer.
Okay, thank you. All right. Members, any question for this speaker? Mr. Khan? Mr. Khan, please go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My only question is, although it has been modified by the applicant, and through you, sir, my question is about variance number 8, FSI, which is 0.57, which is quite high, something like 38%. Now, this is much more than one can accept. So I would say that if there is an explanation, although the lot is big and staff has no objection, how can I accept it this 38% more than allowable?
The question, the question is, could you please explain why you're asking 57 instead of 35?
Yes, sure. As you see, the property is quite big, and the homes in this neighborhood are relatively big, and also 2% of this proposed FSI is for the excessive area of the garage. So the actual FSI is 55% because only one parking spot is required. So only area of one parking spot, which is 2.6 by 5.6, is deducted from the deducted for the garage, and the rest of the garage area is added to the FSI, although it's not livable space. Also, I should mention that other cases in the neighborhood, such as 135 St. Leonard, 37 Rochester, 20 Rochester, 109 Dawlish, 117 Dawlish, they are approved with 57, 58, even 61% for FSI, because as I said, this is a very common variance in this neighborhood. And I should also mention that we are not asking for any height or side setback or front setback variances. So the mass of the building is basically within the allowed building envelope. And we have worked with the planning to address their concerns regarding the length and depth to make sure that the proposal is relatively consistent in the scale and massing with the neighborhood, and is aligned along the streets in the neighborhood, and maintains the consistent massing of the physical character of the neighborhood. Okay. So the planning is in support, and
okay, thank you.
It's in keeping with the approved cases in the neighbor.
Okay, thank you. Any other question, Ms. Tarodi?
Yes, I have a question from Ms. Mozaffari regarding the variance that she eliminated. Since the number of the variance on the staff reports are different from the public notice, would you please just read the variance in which you are eliminating? I know you mentioned variance number 4. Would you please just clarify it and read the actual variance that you're eliminating?
Yes, sure. Variance number 4 regarding the wall height is eliminated. So the wall height and total height are in compliance with the bylaw. And since the updated zoning notice was sent to the planner without this variance, the other variance has a different number, just they are different by 1. So the wall height variance is eliminated. The length is reduced to 19 meter and the depth is reduced to 19.5 meter.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Any other question?
No question.
Okay. Can I have a motion then, please? Mr. Khan? Mr. Khan, please go ahead.
Thank you, sir. Through you, I would like to, after listening to the applicant and clarification about FSI and deleting number 4 and modifying number 6 and 7. So I move that this application be approved with the forestry conditions.
Okay. Yeah, could you please, for the system, go over the changes that you're making? So you're approving that one, you said subject to forestry, and you're eliminating number 4. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, sir. I am accepting the elimination or deletion of number 4 and modifying number 6 to 19.0 and modifying number 7 to first one is length and this one is the depth of the building, 19.5.
Thank you. Thank you. Those are the changes.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thanks. Second, Mr. Hunt, all in favor? Opposed? Miss Manning is opposing. Huh? Clarify what? Miss Manning, are you for or against? For. Thank you. Okay, unanimous. Okay, so your application is unanimously approved, subject to forestry and subject to the changes you made. You want me to go over them or you're okay? Number 4 is out, number 6 changed to 19 meters, and number 7 changed to 19.5 meters. And subject to forestry, your application is approved. Okay, next is number 6. Number 6, which is 24 Heddington, application number 6. And here we have Drew Laszlo. Are you there?
I am indeed. Good morning.
Okay, your name and address, please.
I'm Drew Laszlo, agent for the owner. My address is 193 Roe Avenue, Toronto.
Thank you. Okay, this is a new dwelling, 6 variances. We have just one letter of objection, and because we have here 2 more speakers, so we need you to make please a 5-minute presentation because we have 2 more speakers.
Sure. The application today is for a new dwelling, as mentioned. We have 6 variances. I can just briefly go through the 6 of them. Variances 1 and 2 are related to variance number 6, if I could jump around a bit. 1 and 2 just have to do with the north setback of the front canopy and front porch. And since the house itself, which is variance number 6, since we're asking for a 2-foot side yard setback instead of a 3-foot side yard setback, they all relate to that setback on the north side. Variance number 3 has to do with the roof eaves. We're just coming 6 inches closer to the north side property line than what the bylaw permits. So that one's pretty straightforward. Variance number 4 has to do with the wall height. So the general wall height for the entire building is about 1.5 feet taller than what is permitted. That's 8.04. But there's a small little dormer on the south side, which it's just a very isolated case on the south side, and we need a variance for 8.81 meters in order to get that window on that side. I think the big one here is variance number 5, having to do with the FSI as far as the variances are concerned, the big variance. This went to committee of adjustment a couple years ago, a very, very similar dwelling with another designer. And 81% FSI was approved back then. The house design today before the committee, as I speak, it is also 81%. Because of the bylaw change that took place approximately 4 months ago, the basement is now being included in the FSI calculation. So that's why the variance is for 116% or 1.16, but in reality, the house is 81% or 0.81. And again, that was already approved for a new dwelling on this property a couple years ago. That's sort of the best way to explain it. So if this went to committee 4 months ago, I'd be asking for 81%. But because of this bylaw change and the basement being included, now today I'm asking for 116% for the same, for that's what I'm asking for. Thank you.
Okay. So considering the change that has been now that requires 1.16, do you know of any houses in the area that had the same amount?
116%, that I'm unaware of. Again, I look at this, I know the number is 116, but I'm really looking at this as an 81% house. Yeah. And that has been, again, this property itself was approved for that a couple of years ago. Number 57, number 97, number 136 Heddington, they've all been granted 81%. It's quite common for the neighborhood.
So based on 81, there are other houses in the area. See, we used to get
correct.
Yeah, we used to get a list of all the houses in the area with the amount, but now we don't get it. So we rely on your. So you say based on 81, there are lots of houses in the area. Is that correct?
Correct. And again, the need for the 116%, that is only a few months old, so there's not a lot on record.
Okay, thank you. All right, so we'll be back to you, and then members may have some questions after we hear this. Dimitri Zervas, are you there? Dimitra Zervas?
Yes.
Okay, could you?
Yes, can you hear me?
Thank you, yeah. Could you please state your name and address for us?
Dimitra Zervas, I'm at 20 Heddington.
Okay.
The house right next door on the south side.
Yes, yeah, this is 24. So could you tell us what's your concern about this application?
So definitely the first concern is the space index, the maximum floor space index. 1.16 is a huge variance. The house does not seem to be in line with the other homes in the area. That means I'm concerned about street flooding. We have already had water main breaks at that address, 24 Heddington, twice already. And so I'm really concerned about hardscape and water drainage and with that kind of floor space index, that is a huge variance. Do you want to hear all my other concerns as well?
You have 5 minutes.
Okay.
You have 5 minutes. You can use it as you wish.
Okay.
As you please.
Wonderful. Thank you. My other concern is the required minimum side yard setback is 0.9 meters. The proposed dwelling is 0.6 meters on the north side and 0.59 meters on the south side. And the windows are less than less than 2 feet away from my house, on the south side. And I'm concerned about fire safety. I'm also concerned about digging for footings for the new dwelling and damage to my property, my tree, and my home.
Okay, that's it.
I'm also concerned about the height maximum. So item number 4, the permitted maximum height of all side exterior main walls facing a side lot is 7.5 meters. This is over 1.1 meters. I'm concerned about my burning fireplace, the chimney, not having enough draw, which may cause carbon monoxide to build up in my home and create a health and safety risk for my family. And I'm also concerned about the roof eaves, which may project a maximum of 0.9. And so the proposed eaves are 0.14 from the north lot. Water from unmaintained eaves may create water problems, issues on the neighboring lot. So I'm concerned about that. So I'm concerned about the sort of the size of the home and the adequacy of utilities and municipal services, like I said, drainage and water waste and all of that. There was another proposal from this same house in 2019, and that was rejected. And it had a similar application. The street is solely comprised of single-family dwellings. The number of bedrooms and bathrooms, separate entrances, and so forth. I'm concerned that this may be converted to a multi-family dwelling, and the street and house are not zoned for that. And I do have a question about who the owner of the home is, just a clarification question, because the owner has introduced themselves to us as Michael Shan, but in the application I see the name as Quinn Dye. So I'm just wondering who the owner of the home is. They've been there for 5 years, but to be honest, I haven't met them until recently.
Yeah, let me know when you finish, please.
I'm just finished. Thank you.
You're finished. Okay. Just any questions for the speaker? So we'll get back the agent to answer your concerns. Okay. Now the next one we have is Fabio Rosa. Fabio Rosa, are you there?
Yes, can you hear me okay?
Okay, yeah. Could you please state your name and address for us and tell us what's your concern
Sure.
about this application?
Perfect. Good morning, Mr. Speaker and Council. My name is Fabio Rosa. I'm also at 20 Heddington Avenue, and that's obviously on the south side. I don't know if you're able to pull up the objection letter or email that was sent in the package just for the committee just to view. The Mitra Service has gone through all of them. The only one that so if you just go scroll to the top. Thank you so much. You'll see the points that were made. It's just more of a visual. I will not necessarily go through them, but just a visual from 1 to 4. And then the next page would just reveal the other ones. The item that I just wanted to add is a concern from that the city has asked the developer just to confirm what other houses in the area have that, I believe, the 81% variance. And unfortunately, the city indicated that they're not able to obtain that, which is somewhat concerning that we leave that decision up to the developer. For number one, the developer does not have to provide proof that that is the case, nor is the city asking for them to obtain records from the city to make sure that that is the case. It is a very large structure in there. Does it fit into the neighborhood? Absolutely not. It is a very busy street, and to add that many cars, the digging, etc., that has already been discussed. So, just to give some back time, I'm finished with some of the concerns that I've addressed.
Thank you. Any question? Okay, so we'll get the agents to address those concerns. Mr. Laszlo, could you come back, please, and address the concerns that you have heard?
Of course, thank you. Okay, so again, going back to the FSI, I think one thing that should be mentioned is if we were to dig our basement down an additional approximately 3 to 4 feet, we could get the basement out of the FSI calculation, and we would end up with this 81%. The problem is that would give us a 16-foot high ceiling in the basement, which is a bit unrealistic. I just wanted to mention that. So again, the neighbors having the issue, excuse me, with the FSI, we've discussed that. As far as drainage is concerned, everybody knows, or the committee members know, I should say, that a drainage plan is required when we apply for a building permit, which shows how all the surface water will be dealt with and that none of the water will be draining on neighboring properties. And that's a requirement. So we're going to be doing that during the permit stage. As far as landscaping is concerned, we conform to front and rear yard landscaping and hardscaping. Overall, so wall height, so that again, the 8.81 meters is, and it's up to staff if they want to put on a south elevation, if they could maybe just briefly do that so the committee members could see why we need that variance on the south side. It's a very isolated kind of case as far as I see it. If you scroll down a bit more to the south elevation, please. That's the rear, and that's the north and the south. So if the committee members look at that window, please, on the second floor, we have to bump up that roof over it just so we can get the eaves trough. You know, we're doing all we can to keep the eaves trough as low as we can. And so it's very isolated, that 8.81 meters, as you can see. I believe that, oh, and we do have fire shutters, and they're shown on the drawing. So as far as the neighbor having issues with the fire jumping from one, dwelling to the next, we are required to have a fire shutter on there. It's actually shown on the site plan. When we apply for building permit, it'll be very clearly shown on the drawings that a fire shutter is required, so fire cannot jump from one building to the next.
Okay.
Thank you. If the committee has any further questions.
Thank you. We'll see what the members, if they have any question. Members, any question? Mr. Khan, please go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you, sir. My concern is, first of all, I want to bring it that on February 25th, 2021, 10 variances were approved by North York panel, of which I wasn't a member at the time. But today I have in front of me 6 variances. And these 6 variances are the more or less the same as they were presented on February 25th, except variance number 5, FSI is increased to 1.16, and neighbors are raising objection about it. And I'm not happy about it because it is 48% higher than the maximum allowable. So I have a motion to make, and that is my question, that why it is high, he has already explained, and this is way high that I will accept.
Okay, so you...
I fully
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Excuse me, just a second. You made a comment that this is very high. Do you have a question to the gentleman? Or...
No, sir, that is my comment, Mr. Chair, not the question.
It's not a question. No, it's a comment. Okay, so let's see if other members have any other questions. Any question from the other members? No? Okay, if there is no questions, then I need a motion. Who wants to make a motion? Mr. Khan has his hand. Please make a motion, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you, sir. After listening the presentation as well as the comments from the other concerned parties, and having six variances in front of me and no change from what they were approved before, FSI is 48% high, and this is not acceptable. It has exceeded the zoning bylaws as well as the official plan. I move this application be refused.
Oh, so your motion is to refuse the application. Okay, do I have a second?
Yes.
Ms. Manning, is that a second? You're seconding, thank you. We have Mr. Khan refuse, Ms. Manning seconding. All in favor? Opposed? Mr. Hunt, is that for or against? Could we please do it at the same time? Mr. Khan is to refuse. Ms. Manning is joining. Yeah, so Mr. Hunt, what is it? You joining against?
Yes.
Okay, so 3 against. Opposed? Ms. Satarod is opposing. So your application, Mr. Sir, Mr. Laszlo, your application is refused 3-1.
Thank you.
Okay, application number 7, which is 10 LAILEY Crescent, application number 7. And here we have Ali Shakiri. Are you there?
Good morning, Ali Shakiri, 326 Shepherd Avenue East.
Thank you. So we have here, just a second, we have, this is a 7 is a new application. We have a new dwelling, 1 variance, forestry condition number 1. Okay, let me ask the members. Members, do we need a presentation here? No. Okay. Sir, we don't need a presentation. Do you want to make some any comments before we move to the commission?
No comments, sir, but it would be a pleasure to answer any questions.
Thank you. Okay. So, members, any question or motion, please? It's 1 variance. Can I have a motion there, please? Ms. Manning first. Okay, Ms. Manning, go ahead, please. We don't hear you. We don't hear you. We don't hear you. We don't hear you.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion.
Yeah, but she has to hear it. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so Mr.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, now it's okay. Yeah. Now we hear you.
I was just saying, Mr. Chair, I think this is a very straightforward application that meets the 4 tests. I'd like to make a motion to approve subject to the conditions of forestry.
Thank you. Second. Mr. Khan seconding. All in favor? Okay. Sir, your application is unanimously approved subject to forestry.
Thank you very much.
Okay. I know. I was just thinking about it. Okay. LAILEY Crescent. Okay. Next is now application number 8, which is 21 BERNEY Crescent, application number 8. And here we have Glenn Romanoff. Are you there?
Hi, good morning, everyone.
Okay,
yes,
your name and your address for the record, please.
Yes, it's Glenn Rubinoff Design Group, 18 Gloucester Lane, Toronto.
Okay, so we have nobody else. We have here a new dwelling, 6 variances. There is no, just 1 letter of concern. Members, do we need the presentation here? No? Okay. Sir, do you want to mention anything before we make a motion?
No, just simply that I feel that this is comparable to other redevelopments in the area, and I feel that it is a redevelopment of the property, which is in keeping with
Okay.
with redevelopment.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so members, can I have a motion then? Mr. Hunt?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I believe this application is very straightforward, and given that there's no opposition, so subject to the urban forestry requirements, I would move approval.
Thank you. Do we have a forestry there? Yeah. Okay. Second, Mr. Tarodi. All in favor? Okay, unanimous. Okay, sir, your application is unanimously approved. He said subject to forestry.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I think we're entitled to a small break, and they're laughing, they're smiling. Okay, 10-minute break. Okay.
Found it.
Is Brandon back? Okay. Okay. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're resuming our session, and we're into application number 9, which is 1204 Roselawn Avenue. 1204 Roselawn, and we have here Mr. Jonathan Venskowski. Are you there?
Good morning, Mr. Chair.
Good morning. Please repeat your name and address for us.
Jonathan Benskowski, 301 Keewatin Avenue.
Thank you. We have here, this is a garden suite of our garage, 5 variances. There's lots of support, 12 letters of support, just one objection, but we have here 2 people to speak, and therefore we need you to make a presentation, please.
Yes, absolutely. Could we bring up the proposed plans, please? And start at page 4. So this is, as written in the description, a maintaining of the existing garage at grade. So the proposal will maintain the setbacks to both the west, which would be the left side of the screen, if we could just go up to where the proposed garden suite is, to the west, as well as to Castle Field. So this is actually a through and through lot. It has a frontage both on Roselawn to the south, as well as Castle Field to the north. So the proposal will maintain the garage at grade, and as mentioned, the setbacks to both the west, which is the left, and Castle Field, which is the top. The only grade addition is, as we see, a hatched portion on the right side of the screen, which is for a stairway to access the second floor suite. And if we could go down to the next page, please. As mentioned, the entire second floor, sorry, one more down too, please, just till we get to the second floor portion. Sorry, one more, and then one more. Yeah, one more, please. That's it. The entire second floor is proposed, again, to be built in line with that west setback, as well as to the both south and the north, except for these small box bays that we see on the left portion of the screen. The existing location of the garage without these 2 small box bays would still require relief for the separation distance between the main dwelling and that existing garage. In terms of one of the objectors spoke to a balcony, if we see on the left portion, that is actually just a small Juliet balcony. There is no foot access that would be permitted there. So the entirety of the second floor walls at both the east and the west is to be built in line with the first floor below. Those 2 box bays are the only addition that are outside of what would be at grade. The garage itself is causing the setback variance to the north along Roselawn, again, as mentioned, as well as the separation distance between the main wall of the house and the proposed second floor. In terms of the angular planes to the side, in terms of offering that 45 degrees, this simply would not be a usable garden suite if those were to be complied with. The last point I'd like to touch on is the proposed request for that height increase at 6 meters. If we were to go to the floor plans, we would see that the existing height is being maintained on the first floor, and the second floor floor to ceiling is a very modest proposal of 8 feet floor to sill. So that increase of height to 6 meters is not being caused by, for example, a 10-foot floor to ceiling on the second floor. That second floor floor to ceiling is proposed at 8 feet, which is very modest and really would be in keeping with other garden suites that have been approved. And that's my presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. We'll be back when we hear the other speakers. So we have here Joel Sa. Are you there? Joel Sa.
Joel Sa, and I'm owner and resident of 1206 Roselawn.
Thank you. Tell us, please tell us what's your concern here.
I mean, I have several concerns regarding privacy and regarding sunlight. Yes, there is an existing garage, which they're gonna build the suite on top. But that existing garage is already encroaching into the setback of the existing house. So that's the first one. And on top of that, he's building another 2 feet, which is the Juliet balcony that it's pointless, which is gonna cause me major, privacy issues because I'm gonna have people looking over with privileged view to my backyard because they're above. And other than that, there's also, yes, their heights are not being respected. There's a huge portion of this build that it's gonna just encroach on the height and to the house at the back. So it's not respecting 3 variances. So this is a major. I did contacted the app technician because I did sign the form, but then after going all over the measures that are presented, yes, I have my major concerns because this is gonna cut off sunlight to me with all of this encroachment at the height, and also privacy issues. People are gonna be just looking into my backyard. There's actually no angular plane. That's gonna be like I only have sunlight for half of the day. With this being built, I'll barely have sunlight there, and that's it.
Okay, are you finished, or do you have some more concerns?
I'm finished.
You're finished. Thank you. Any question for the speaker? No? Okay, we have next speaker, Antonio Capella. You there? He's not there. Okay. Robert Venus. Robert Venus.
Hello?
Yeah, okay, Mr. Yeah, could you please state your name and address for us?
This is Robert Venus, 1194 Roselawn Avenue.
Thank you. And tell us what Yeah.
I am just, I'm here to support. I'm here to support. I'm here to support the changes.
Oh, you came here to support. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, okay. That's it. So there's no question. You're here to support. All right. So,
yeah.
Okay. So, Mr. Benkowski, are you still there?
I'm here still, Mr. Chair.
Okay. So, Mr. Venus is supporting, and the other two mentioned some concern. Could you please address those concerns?
Yes. If we could go to the last page of the uploaded plans, there are a couple of color perspective renderings that I think would be very helpful when we speak to the issue of overlook and privacy. Yes, and specifically the bottom one, please. So the individual who was objecting is located to the west. Sorry, I'm just going to. Yeah, specifically the bottom one. The individual who spoke was objecting is actually located to the west. So the portion of overlook really is just for that one window of that box bay. In terms of that Juliet balcony, that is set further behind that box bay. We see there, correct, as well. It is located away from the individual's property. In addition, that box bay there is actually for a bedroom, not for a living room, which generally would lead to less overlook, as one often doesn't sit and live in their bedroom, rather sleep as well as leave. In terms of the issues that dealt with setbacks, again, this is the maintaining of an existing garage. The 6 meter is very modest in height, in my opinion, given, again, the 8-foot second floor to ceiling. Again, if this were not to be approved, essentially, this would not be permitted to have a garden suite on it, just based upon the location of the existing house, as well as the existing garage. And again, it is important to note that this is a through and through lot with the access to parking coming from Castlefield to the north. And I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you. Any questions?
Mr. Chair,
Yeah.
I have Antonio on the line, actually.
Oh, he's online. Oh, thank you.
Hey, Antonio, do you want to speak now?
Yes, I'm I'm Antonio Capella. I live at 1208 Roselawn Avenue, and I'm more than supportive of what the gentleman is doing with the house at 1204 Roselawn. It really needs to be renovated, and I think it would be good for the street anyways, you know, have everything up to date, and I'm totally supportive, and so is my mom. My mom supports his actions too.
Thank you. That's nice to hear. Okay, so the other one,
Thank you.
Thanks, Antonio.
Mr. Capella, that we didn't have before, now he's supporting. Okay, members, any question? Mr. Khan?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I would like the clarification of variance number 1 from the applicant. And he's saying the proposal is 1.07. What is this distance or proposed is? What he's suggesting?
Mr. Brankowski?
Sorry, I'm not quite sure I understand the question.
Sir, my question is your distance 1.07, what this distance is to what item from?
Oh, sorry. Now I see. Through you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Khan, that's to the north portion, which is Castlefield, which is triggered by the through and through lot. So if we were to bring the proposed site plan up,
Okay, thank you.
yeah, it's the box bay on the second floor that triggers that.
Thank you.
Okay, any other question? If not, can I have a motion then, please? Ms. Tarodi, please.
Yes, through you, Master Chair. I was carefully listened to the applicant and the neighbors. And this is the garden suite is kind of a new thing that's happening in our city. Therefore, but it's a very good development. Therefore, I would like to put forward a motion to approve this application with no condition.
No condition. Thank you. Second. Ms. Manning, seconding. All in favor? Opposed? Mr. Khan is opposing. Okay, sir, your application is approved with no conditions.
Thank you.
Okay. Application number 10, which is 80 Regent Road, application number 10. And here we have...
Mr. Chair, I believe staff is trying to reach out to the applicant, so maybe we...
Oh, he's not there.
Yeah, we'll hold this one down.
Okay, could you please remind me, we'll go back to it? So we'll take number 11. Thank you. Okay. 25 GLENGOWAN Road, application number 11. And here we have Alicia Kiri. Are you there?
Mr. Chair. Yes.
Oh, sorry. Shadi Arani, are you there?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay, could you please state your name and address for us, please?
My name is Shadi Orani from 685 Shepherd Avenue East on behalf of the owner of 25 GLENGOWAN Road.
Okay, this is no dwelling, 5 variances. TRC has no objection and 3 letters of support. Members, do we need a presentation here? No? Okay. We don't need a presentation. Do you want to make any comment before we move to committee?
No, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. So if no questions, can I have a motion then? Mr. Hunt, please go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I believe that this is fairly standard request. There are no conditions from Urban Forestry nor TRCA, and there are a number of letters of support, so I would move approval without condition.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair?
Yeah.
Through you, I believe there is a late transportation report.
Transportation, it says no objection.
No objection?
No impact, no objection, TRC. Oh, transportation. Do you have one transportation? I don't have it here.
Nor do I.
No, we don't have it here. Was that late? Was received today? What does it say? Sorry? There's conditions, yeah? Okay. Member, Mr. Hunt, thank you for reminding us. Mr. Hunt, could you please, if it's okay to correct your, hello? I don't see him.
Hello.
Okay,
Yes.
Mr. Hunt, there is
I'm happy. If there are transportation services conditions, I will include those in my motion.
Thank you. That was just received.
It'll just be,
Okay.
yes, I think I said approval with no conditions, and so it'll be approval with the transportation.
Thank you. Yeah, we just received it. Okay. So the motion is to approve the application subject to transportation conditions. Second, please. Ms. Manning seconding. All in favor? Okay, unanimous. Okay, so your application is unanimously approved subject to transportation.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. Is Tony Valentini there? Could we try him? Okay. Mr. Tony Valentin, are you there?
Good morning.
Oh, good morning.
Yes.
Yeah, could you please
Good
state...
morning, members of the committee. Yes, I'm here.
Okay, just your name and your address. You can state it so it can be
My name
recorded
is
on
Tony
the system.
Valentin. Hello. My name is Tony Valentin. I am the agent for this project. And my address is number 8 Wellesley Street East, 702, Toronto.
Thank you. So we have here, we have a number of speakers, and this is for an addition to a house of worship. We have some letters of objection and 3 variances. Could you please make your presentation so we can call the other speakers?
Thank you very much. Okay. Our application actually is, and a proposal is to create a pastor's residence for the church. It will be a 2-story residential building attached to an existing church. When we applied for the zoning review, we went first for the first review, and then there was a second review to eliminate some of the variances that we encountered. Right now, we have only remaining 3 more variances, which we think is very minor. The number 1 is, of course, the required rear yard setbacks for the building. The fact is that we are just following the existing rear back setback of the existing church. And there is enough space there actually for even a driveway, because that is our existing driveway now. Okay. The second, of course, is the parking space that they said is located in the front yard. The parking spaces that's remaining there are existing parking spaces for 63 years. We actually moved the 2 PWD parking back, as a matter of fact, so that it will clear the front of the building. So, and the third, of course, is the green space that you required for 3 meters from the lot abutting the development. As all the parking are existing, we can only do a minor landscaping to the west of the project, but we cannot do anything about the rear because it is actually part of the parking and driveway. I think all these 2 variances are very minor in nature, and we would like to request the wisdom and the power of the Committee of Adjustment to approve this.
Okay, thank you. We'll come back to you. We have here Iglesia Ni Cristo. Is you there? Iglesia Ni Cristo.
Support.
Yeah.
Support.
You're cutting off there. Could you please? No, we don't.
Good afternoon. This is Iglesia Ni Cristo.
Okay.
In terms of the owners of the building, just connecting in support of the approval of the variances.
Oh, okay. So you're in support of the application. Okay. Okay. Oh, you're the owner. So it said here area resident. Okay. Excuse me. Could you please repeat your name and address for us?
Iglesia Ni Cristo, 80 Regent Road.
Okay. So you're in support.
My name personally is Julius Advincula, 3 Colin Roy Street.
Oh, okay. So you're in support of the application. Okay. All right. So let's see. The next one is Susie DeFazio. Susie DeFazio, are you there?
I'm a resident of the area, have been for over 50 years, and I oppose of this because I back onto this property.
Excuse me, before you go along,
yes,
we need your name and address to be recorded on the system. Could you please state, you state your name and address?
Sure, it's Susie DeFazio, and I'm at 65 Catherine Road. I back onto this property that's in question here, and I am opposing of it for the various reasons that I also sent the letter in. My property backs onto the back part of this parking lot, and I'm concerned that with having a 2-story addition done, it's going to impede on my privacy in my backyard. I'm not going to be able to receive the sunlight that I received today. And when looking out from my backyard, I'm going to be looking out to a bigger building instead of what's there now, which is beautiful to look out to the sky at night. I'm also concerned with the traffic flow in the area. There's been an increase in parking along our side streets. This isn't only one day a week, like let's say some other parishes or whatever. They come constantly down the streets. They park right up to the corners of the road, making it very dangerous when we need to exit our road. They've parked the wrong way on the road. So I'm concerned with that and having additional flow through the area. I also believe that this should have been a community consultation. This church has been here, like they said, for over 60 years, and I think it affects the community as a whole, not only the immediate people that are around the area. Unfortunately, a lot of the people who do live directly across or even the side of it are seniors, older Italian seniors that probably didn't even know what this was all about when they received this paperwork. So having something more of a community consultation, I think, would have been a better idea for this. So those are my concerns. Like I said, I do have some other ones just about, I think the structure will be too intrusive to fit the character of our neighborhood. That's one of my additional ones.
Okay, thank you. Any question for the speaker? All right, so Ms. Atarodi, you have a question?
Yes, to you, Mr. Chair. It's not a question, it's just a comment for Ms. DeFazio, is that this, based on the variance that is in front of us, we do not have any height variance. So by law, they can build to that height. And also regarding the parking, we didn't get any report for transportation. So just want to draw the neighbors' attention to those two.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I think Mr. Valentin will have to respond to that. They also made comment about the sunlight and love. All that will be responded by the Mr. Tony Valentin. In the meantime, we have another Mary Caravaggio. Are you there? Mary Caravaggio. Okay, are you still there? Mary?
Hello? Can you hear
okay.
me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Could
Yeah.
you,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, could you please state your name and address?
Sure. My name is Mary Caravaggio. I live at 63 Catherine Road, next door to the resident that just spoke.
Thank you. And tell us what's your concern.
So my concerns are very similar. Obviously, we're both neighbors, and so we both back on to the church. We're concerned about the severe reduction in sunlight. Also, privacy. If you know, building a second floor, if there's windows, I mean, you're going to be looking right into not only my backyard, but right into my home directly. I'm sorry, I didn't catch the name of the speaker earlier about the bylaw. It could be a bylaw that may need to be revisited or looked at. It's a residential area. The church has been there for a long time. It's an existing building, but I don't understand modernize it and making it higher in a residential area can still comply with the bylaw. So I really would like to maybe challenge looking at that bylaw. Secondly, transportation. Maybe the residents have made a mistake by not complaining. We've been trying to be very supportive to the church and the membership, but we're more than happy to start calling in if needed and taking pictures of the havoc it's been causing in our community and safety concerns. And now you want to make a church even bigger and just bring that much more into this community. It's our mistake. We should have been calling sooner, and we will moving forward. I also want to talk about, it being intrusive as well. So, I don't want to repeat myself, but I wrote a letter and our concerns are very similar. I agree that it should have been a proper community consultation. It affects many in the community, but a lot of the residents are seniors and English is their second language, and they probably didn't understand what is happening. So I would like us to really be fair and do this more holistically so that we can address this properly. It's nothing against the church and their membership. We want to support them. I just honestly feel they've outgrown the church, and it's just not feasible for them to build this monster structure in our backyard and bring in all this more increased visitation to this community. The church masses start from as early as like 5:30, 6 o'clock, and they go right late into the night, and it's multiple days a week. It isn't just bear with us, it's just 2 days. It's a lot. And so I'm really, really concerned about what is being proposed, and I do wish them all the best. I really don't mean anything negative towards the work that they're doing and their ask. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any question for this speaker? Ms. Manning, do you have a question?
More of a comment. I just want to reiterate what my colleague, Ms. Atarodi West said, that we're limited. The decision we're making is limited to the 3 variances before us, which do not include a height variance.
Thank you for that comment. Okay, Mr. Tony Valentini, could you please
Yes,
respond
Mr.
to the
Chair.
concern? Yeah, and there is
Yes.
just before you go, we have another report from transportation that have some conditions. So I don't know if you saw.
Yeah, I will address it.
You saw it. Okay, so the members will have to.
I will address that to Mr. Chair.
Okay.
Yes, I will address that also.
Okay. So please, you have 3 variances. Tell us your response to the concerns you heard.
Yeah, I was also concerned the first time I read the letter from the neighbor. I was not aware where they are located, so I took a site visit. I'm sure that some members of the committee also have site visited the area, because that's the normal procedure that some members should visit the location of the project. If you have visited it and saw the location of the concerned houses, they are way back at the west side, that is northwest side of the parking lot. It will not involve any building that will be built on that side. As a matter of fact, the proposed residence will be attached to the church. And it is too far from that to create any shadow effect. Even during the winter time, when the shadow is long, it will not reach the neighbor. And I'm sure that some of you who observe it, some members of the committee who have visited it, will also see that there is no way that the shadow of a two-story residential unit will be interfering with the privacy, with the shadow effect or the loss of light by the neighbors. There are plenty of lights that sunlight that they will have because it is an open parking space. That's all for that concern. And the other concern about the transportation, we would like to address the committee that we have been through this several times with the examiners. As a matter of fact, we revised our drawing in accordance with their requirement. And one of them is, of course, to give them the measurements of the parking spaces, and we did. And we have no other comment afterwards. The only thing that is remaining is the three variances that we are applying for. So as a matter of fact, even the transportation department said that you should approve this regardless. That if that is really a big concern for this committee, you can approve it, but have a condition. But I don't think that you have to put a condition because we have complied to it. And all the parking spaces there has been there for 63 years. We are not touching any of the parking spots. So far, it is working. And whether the size is different from what the new bylaw is, when it was built, it is a legally existing parking spaces. That's all I would like to address to this committee, and I hope that we will get a positive response.
Okay.
Thank you.
Very good. Okay. So like our members say, we concentrate on the variances. People talk all the time about light, sign light, and they like, the lights and this and the all we concentrate about three variances, and that's what we're concerned about. If you didn't have these three variances, you wouldn't be here. You would be building what you have to build. So let's concentrate on these three variances, plus the transportation we just got. You said there is no reason when we have it, we have to put it as a condition. So whatever you decide with them, it's fine with us. So we have, members, we have a transportation letter, and I'd like to, first, any question to this speaker before we move to motion? Mr. Hunt, do you have a question? Oh, hold a second.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to.
No, before you move to Ms. Manning, had her hands first. Ms. Manning, did you have a question?
I just want to be able to take a look at the transportation report because we didn't receive it. Can they leave it up on the screen for a few minutes, for a minute or two?
Yes, please. Could you put
Thank
it on the screen? Can you read it from there?
Mm-hmm.
I'm having a hard time reading it from there. Okay. Can you see it, Ms. Manning?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, yeah, the condition is there. And I think Mr. Hunt has his hand first. Mr. Hunt, is that a question?
Yes, I have a couple of clarifications I'd like from the applicant's agent. Firstly, if you look, I believe you said that this was going to be an addition to provide a residence for the pastor. Is that correct?
Mr. Valentini, do you hear the question?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so it's safe to assume that this addition is not going to lead to a larger congregation.
No, no.
All right, my second question is that all of the parking that is shown on your location plan are not going to be disrupted by the addition.
No.
So you will be able to park just as many cars on your site as you can pre-construction.
Yes, we still have the 31 parking spots there.
Okay. Great, thank you.
Okay, Miss Tarodis, do you have a question?
Yes.
Please go.
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair. We receive a lot of late transportation, but we haven't received this one and even one for the previous application. When did we actually receive this? What time and date is the transportation memo issued?
Yeah, we got.
Do you have it on the top? Is it issued today or yesterday or?
I don't know how. Yeah, I don't know how.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, how we can have control on that. In fact, they had 3 or 4. I think 3 or 4 came yesterday, and some came today. So we have no control. We keep telling them send this in advance, but that's what happened. So we got it. It's
Okay.
there, and we saw it. So, any other question?
If there is no other question, I'm ready to put forward a motion.
Please.
So, to you, Mr. Chair, I was carefully listened to the architect and the neighbors. We are having an application with 3 variants in front of us, and 2 of them is existing condition, and the third one is also it's very minor. And regarding the transportation concern and everything, this parking lot and all these parking pad or number of parking is an existing again condition for years. So therefore, I would like to put forward a motion to approve this application with no condition.
Okay, and I have 2 seconds here. Which one went first? Okay, Miss Manning seconding. All in favor? All in favor? Opposed? Mr. Khan is opposing. Okay, sir, your application is approved. And
No, I'm not, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Hold a second.
I was not opposing.
Sorry?
I was not opposing. I was in favor of the motion.
Yeah, we said it. Mr. Khan is the only one who was opposing. Mr.
Sorry.
Hunt, you're for. Mr. Hunt, you're for the application? Yeah, we said it. 3 of them, Mr. Khan is opposing. So what's your question?
I have no question.
Okay, okay, sir, your application is approved and there is no condition. Okay, now for.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and committee members. I'm Aoyu, and I'm the agent from LHW Engineering, 2347 Kennedy Road. I'm here today on behalf of the owner of 111 GLENFOREST Road.
2 steps ahead for us. Okay. All right. So this is item number 12, 111 GLENFOREST Road. And here we have, this is application to convert a garage to garden suite. We have 10 variances. Staff report has conditions, and we have letters of objection. So I have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people to speak, and therefore we need you to make a presentation so we can hear them, what they have to say.
Yeah, absolutely. Could you pull out the drawing first and move to the page 0.1? Yeah, that's the page. Please allow me to briefly go through the variance first. The variance number 3 and 4 is related to the setback of the garden suite. Variance 6 and 7 is related to the height. Variance number 5 is the setback from the main building. Variance number 8 is lot coverage, and variance number 2 is about the soft landscaping coverage. Let's go back to the proposal. So previously the front addition was approved, and now the owner is looking for an opportunity to alter her rear garage to the garden suite. If the owner, this is kind of like absolute garage at the rear yard, and now the garage has been moved to the main building. In favor of the garden suite provision introduced last year, the owner come to me and try to alter this garage into the garden suite. So based on the bylaw setback exception, the garden suite could be achieved by extending the existing wall to 4 meter and a gable roof go up to 6 meter, along with a 45-degree angular plan on each side. However, during the zoning review, the rear garage doesn't match the city record for some historical issue, and therefore is deemed as illegal existing, and hereby triggered variance number 3, number 4, number 6, number 7. According to the owner research, this garage has been existing for about like more than 20 years, as shown in the cover letter that I submitted. The neighbor across the street advised that this garage may exist more than 40 years, and the satellite map from the Google Earth can find this garage dated back to 2005. Also, the existing right-of-way provides access to the rear yard in order to provide a driveway to the rear yard. So in terms of number 5 and number 8, the lot coverage of the garage is 41%, and the setback from the main building is 7.5 meter, which is slightly exceeding the bylaw requirement 40% and 7.5 meter. As for the soft landscaping, is asking for relief to reduce to 40%. And the bylaw require 50% of soft landscaping at the rear yard. The most of hard landscaping is covered by the basement workup, so the stormwater are able to be collected by the drainage system of the basement workup. And therefore, this would not cause any issue of flooding. That's all, and I'm very happy to answer any question or concern.
Okay, thank you. We'll be back to you. We'll see what the neighbors have to say. Crispin Torold, are you there?
Hello, sir. Hi, can I speak?
Can you please state your name and address for us?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. My name is Crispin Thorold, and I am with my wife, the owner and resident of 115 Glenforest Road, which is to the immediately adjacent to the site on the east.
Thank you.
We would like to, thank you, sir. We would like to start by noting the considerable degree of opposition to this proposed garden house within the area. I have heard from owners at 101, 105, 107, 109, 117, 110, 112, and 118 Glenforest Road.
Sir, I have all the addresses here, and we're going to hear from them. Could you tell us, please, what's your concern?
Excellent. So one thing I wanted to say about the degree of local opposition is if written objections from all of those households will be material to your decision, then we would ask for a delay so that we can get those written objections. The notice of this meeting came when a lot of people were away for March break. So I just wanted to put that to the committee if that is material to your decision. We note and thank Councillor Jay Robinson for her strong support in rejection to this application and draw the committee's attention to her letter, which came in yesterday. Our belief is that the existing garage is an illegal structure. It's never been used for residential purposes. Beyond that, Google Maps note that we've just heard, we would note that there's no evidence that it's existed beyond that date, and that the neighbor who was approached is an elderly and vulnerable man, and that he said that the garage had been there on the basis of hearsay that he'd heard from the previous owner's son that it had existed. So we don't actually have evidence of when it was built. Our objection is not to a garden suite itself, but to what we believe is the construction of a second home on this site in this illegal structure. The extent of these variances, which although they're described as mainly minor variances, amount in their totality to a major variance from code. The application is asking for exceptions to be made in every single direction, resulting in a building that's going to be right up against the property line on the south, east, and west sides. Most egregiously, from our point of view, this is a proposal for a 6-meter high structure, and the code is clear that 4 meters is the normal allowed for a property that's less than 7.5 meters from the residential building. This is a huge variance. It's half the height of the building on top, again, sorry, of the code allowance on top again, so 50% increase on code. And these variances in their totality are really asking for a house to be built in the backyard, a structure that's going to take up 41% of the rear yard, again, out of code. We also note from our perspective from 115 that the 2 windows on the second level on the north side of the proposed structure, which are approximately 3 meters above grade, will face directly into our house. Given the height of those windows, we won't be able to, and are allowed under code, to build a fence that's high enough to ensure our privacy. And finally, we have serious concerns about the risk of flooding and stormwater management on site, given that there's already been an extension to the main house, and now there's a proposed garden house as well, and the amount of softscaping, less than 40% of the backyard area, is again a full 10% below what's permitted under code. And we would like to thank the committee for your time and for considering our objections.
Well, I see the objection here is covering a lot of terrain, but we have here
as does the house.
Yeah, we have here a number of variances, and I'm trying to pin it down to which variance you're opposing to. Because if they didn't have these variances, they can go and build it without coming here. So I'm looking into variance.
But not in the existing structure, in my understanding, sir.
Yeah. So I'm trying to.
So we object to the variances that mean that the property will be right on the property line on the east, west, and south sides. So that's 3 variances there. We also object to the variance on the height of the property, and we object to the variance on the softscaping as well, the area that the footprint of this will take.
Okay, got it.
Haven't got the numbers to hand, I'm afraid, but yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay. Any question for the speaker? We'll call the agent. He'll be back and he'll address those concerns. Now we have another speaker, Ralph Wickesser. Ralph Wickesser, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, sorry if I pronounced your name not properly. Could you please state your name and address for us?
No, you said it quite well. Thank you. My name is Ralph Wickesser. I'm the owner and resident of 105 GLENFOREST Road.
Okay, and tell us what's your concern.
Well, generally it is, as CRESCENT mentioned, it is the numerous variances that are requested, where they are in excess of or too large for the size of the property or the encroachment onto the existing lot lines. Where they're not encroaching, the building is designed to go to the absolute maximum as required by code. At the least, there should be some reductions in the height and second floor space to account for the oversize of the ground floor. Otherwise, if the applicant wants to build something in the backyard, then fine, build it, but build it within the permitted lot area or building area within the lot. Trying to have the cake and eat it too, basically, seems to be what's excessive. Also, while this is a second application and a separate application, there were several applications to enlarge the main house, which is currently under construction, to a major extent. The drawings that were submitted at that time showed a garden shed in the back, actually taking down the existing garage and reducing the size of the building by approximately half to basically a garden shed. Now, all of a sudden, the existing building or the existing garage is remaining and gets a full second floor added to it. I don't think there are any drawings for it, but the interior height of the ground floor, clear height is shown as 9'6". The maximum height of the second floor in the middle part is shown as 11 feet. It seems excessive for a garden suite. And it's simply an overuse of this lot. If you look at the overall picture of the property, there's hardly any green space left. Also, the calculated green space area does not show any kind of a walkway to the garden suite. So I guess people are trudging through the grass to get to the front door of the garden suite. Assuming that there will be a walkway, this will reduce the green space even more, since it's already below the required percentage. In general, this lot is there isn't going to be any green space left, basically. It'll be covered in buildings front to back, with a little walkway in between, and it's just unacceptable for basically any lot, but also this neighborhood, where the houses are of reasonable size. This is a complete abomination, quite frankly. Well, that's basically all I have to say.
Okay. Yeah, okay. So that's, yeah, you refer to a number of variances. I can see them. And we'll, yeah. So the space is 50%, they're asking 39.78. That refers to the garden space. Okay, all right, so we'll see what, he'll come back and he'll address his concerns. In the meantime, any question for the speaker? Okay, we have a lot of more speakers, and I hope they have something different. Rui Kong, are you there? Rui Kong? Yeah.
Hi.
Yeah, could you please state
my name is
Rui? Yeah, your address.
Yes.
Yeah. Your
Yes.
name and address.
My name is Rui Gong and Sylvia Hong, and we live in the 109 GLENFOREST Road, which is immediately adjacent to 111.
I see it. Okay, now you heard the other speakers. Do you have anything different?
Yeah, and I want to add something. And one thing, because we submitted some slides, I don't know whether the committee can show the slides on the screen. Just the photos, please. Yeah, this is, you can see from the photos, the current garage is very close to our side lot line, and there's no blending fence. And we're afraid if there's a 6-meter high building is allowed, it will cast a shadow over most of my patio and significantly reduce the sunlight entering into our house. Also, the other concern is converting this currently non-residential garage into a residential garden suite, which means someone will live very closely, extremely closely to our house. And their window almost directly facing ours, and we have big windows. So we are very concerned about our privacy and also some light pollution at night. And we also echo what our neighbors just said. We just think this is not normal under common sense, and this is not minor variations. And another point is the owner, the applicants, they have listed 10 variations in this application from their site plan. And if we consider their proposed walkout, actually only very few land is left for gardening. And we also pointed out that this applicant have already made an application less than a year ago and for their main house. So these two applications considered together, and we don't believe the overall project can be considered minor. And the other thing is, during their current work, we think they have already damaged some of our foundations, and this damage hasn't been rectified yet. So because we communicated with them and the construction work said, this is unavoidable because the two houses are so close. So if so, we are really concerned if such additional garden suite is allowed, our footing and of our foundation will be further damaged because the garage is even closer to our sideline. And my last point is, we want to emphasize, to my knowledge, our neighborhood has never had such a residential building in the backyard. And this is the reason we purchased our house 3 years ago. This is a very peaceful and a quiet community. And the current layout allow each household to have a decent life with privacy. And if such a garden suite can be allowed, and I think it set a very negative precedent and potentially lower the value of our property. And imagine who want to leave a house and somebody just living facing your window just 4 meters away. I believe other families in our community feel the same way. If such thing happens, it might lead to a ripple effect, and more residents had to force to build their own garden in response, because this is probably the only way to make up for the loss we have. So, which ultimately, I'm afraid it destroyed the beauty of this community. And so, in light of the concern about, we don't believe this project is a minor variation. And thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any question? Okay, Catherine Brooks, are you there?
Not there, Mr. Chair. Not there. Staff
Not
have
there.
tried to reach out.
Okay. How is the magic guy? Not happening. No magic. Mark Salerno, are you there?
I am.
Okay, can you please state your name and address?
I can. I'm Mark Salerno, 118 Glenforest Road. I'm across the street from the property.
Okay, so
my
please.
objection is.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'll make it short because my
Yeah.
objection is similar to the others. My objections are to all 10 variances due to the size of the garden suite, the height, the proximity to the neighbors, the lack of green space and soft space it creates on that property. So the overall area it occupies, the height, being 6 meters makes it a height of a typical 2-story home. I do not object to a garden suite. I believe if the owner is looking for a garden suite, it would make sense to readjust this request to just fit better the size of the property and the dimensions of that property. And I'm worried that the lack of soft space may have an impact on stormwater management and flooding. And my only other comment not made by the others is that garage provided for parking for that property. The removal of that garage on our street, which is already a very busy parking street and only has parking on the north side, could actually intrude on the parking and interfere with the ability of people to park on Glen Forest itself. That's it.
Okay, thank you. That's very short. We see what we tell to people here, we have variances. If they don't refer to the variances, nothing we can do. To speak about windows and privacy and pollution and value of the property, all these are not related to the variances. So if you can address the variances, then we can address them too. So thank you for your presentation. That was very good and short. And any question for this gentleman? So let's go to the next one. Matthew Fong?
Again, not there, Mr. Chair.
He's not there, okay. And how about Linda Love? Linda Love.
Yes, I'm Linda Love, and I live at 112 Glenforest Road.
Thank
which
you.
is directly opposite.
Anything different from what you heard?
No, but
No?
I would like it noted that my main objections are to variance number 9,
okay,
which is the 6-meter height, and variance number 5, which is the soft landscaping. I agree with all the people who have spoken to this point, and I'm in full agreement with all of them. And I'll keep it short because I have nothing else to add except my support the neighbor.
Perfect. That's excellent. You're objecting to variance number 5 and number 9 because this is what we are looking at. If they didn't have these variances, we wouldn't be here. Okay, thank you. Anything else you want to say?
No, thank you.
Thanks very much.
Mr. Chair, if I may, I believe we have Matthew Fong.
Oh, he's back.
I
Okay.
think so.
Thank you. Mr. Matthew Fong, are you there?
Yes, I'm there, Mr. Chairman. Apologies for the delay. I mean, I think.
Okay. Could you?
I don't think.
Excuse me. In order for you to be recorded on the system, could you please state your name and address?
My name is Matthew Fong, and I live at 76 Roslyn Avenue.
Thank you. And what's your concern? Anything different?
No, I think my concerns have been addressed or have been stated by others on this call, but just wanted to reiterate that I am in full agreement with those objections, in particular to variance 9, the 6-meter height.
Okay, thank you. And any question? Okay, the last one here is Faisal Qureshi. Are you there? Faisal Qureshi? Is he there? Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Your name and your address, please.
Yeah. I am Faisal Qureshi. I am a resident and owner of 101 Glenforest Road.
Thank you. And tell us what's your concern. I hope it's different from these ones. And if you agree, please say so.
And I share the concerns of my neighbors. I'll keep it simple. I object to variance number 1, and I object to the variance that talks about the height of the garden suite. I think I'll repeat. I think it's worth repeating that the total number, nature, and the extent of variances that the applicants have requested will really result in 2 dwellings that, when taken together, are inappropriate for a lot of this size. The garden suite is also set to replace an existing illegally constructed garage at the back of the house, and I find that to use a prior illegal act to justify this sort of extensive variances defies logic. So I strongly oppose granting these variances. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Yeah, that's a very good comment. What you're saying is the variances may be small each one, but the whole thing makes it big stuff. Okay. So let's see. Any question for this speaker? All right. So now we'll call back Mr. OU. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm still there.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
So can you please address the concerns? You heard how much opposition is?
Yeah, I see.
Okay. Tell us what you want to do about this.
Well, if you look at the page 2.1, that's the front front elevation of this garden suite. The main concern is raised by the two front window at the second floor and a window on the dormer, which may cause which may risk like overlook their privacy. But the zoning allowed the 45-degree angular to mitigate the impact to the private overlook and the shadowing problem. And first of all, to address the privacy issue, the owner is willing to rebuild the 3.5 meter high fence on three sides to cover the vision from the two windows of garden suite at the second floor. And if the window at the dormer really bothers the neighbor, this window could be altered to the glass block in order to ensure the sunlight and the privacy to the neighbor. If the 50% rear yard landscape, soft landscaping is really a matter, then the owner are willing to reduce the existing, the basement workup to be built, the size of this workup to achieve the 50% rear yard soft landscaping requirement. That's all the measure was authorized by the owner to do, and I hope those countermeasure could address the adjacent neighbor concern.
Okay, now I have to admit I'm a little bit confused. You say if this is no good, the owner will change it. If it's the side 50%, he will change. Are you changing these variances? Yes or no?
Yes, I will change
well,
the.
Tell us. Hold a second. Can you please tell me what variance you're changing and to what are you changing it? The staff has to record exactly what you're saying.
I believe the main variance that raises so much concern is about the soft landscaping.
Yeah, excuse me.
Variance number one.
Can you please, cooperate with us? So, without explanation, tell me what variance you want to change and to what you're changing it to.
Well, the variance number one.
Yes.
Could you help us to change from 7? Just remove this variance. We can comply with the zoning bylaw.
Remove. Thank you. Next.
Next, the other variance still need to be grant relief.
Tell me which number you.
Sorry. All the other variants still need need to be granted a relief.
Okay, so all the change you're making, you remove variance number one. Is that correct?
Yeah, and I'm seeking to add some condition, like add a fence, 3.5 meter fence on each side, on all the sides, to guarantee the privacy of the neighbor. And the dormer, the window at the dormer could change to a glass block window.
Is that affecting any variance here?
No, no other variance.
No, you just want to accommodate the neighbors by putting screening. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. I'm willing that's a measure could address their concern, like the privacy and the shadowing problem.
Okay, so members, questions. So far, all I get from him is that he is removing in variance number 1. Ms. Satarodi had her question, had her hands first, please.
To you, Mr. Chair. I have a concern regarding the minimum emergency access clearance for the garden suite, and therefore I would like to ask for clarification on variance number 3 and 4. You mentioned, is this west and east setback? West setback is 0.48, east is 0.42. Are these two setback existing setback? Or is it a setback of the second addition or renovation that is ongoing?
Well, that's the setback, the addition.
It's an addition, means later
Yeah.
to renovate, you just built another shed with this setback, correct?
Exactly, yes.
Okay, so now when I look at the site plan of the drawing, so on the west side, you just don't have enough side yard setback. How much is the side yard setback on the east side of the property? I'm just trying to see if we can just have emergency access, at least on the west side.
Well, on the west side of the garden suite is 0.42 meter.
I know, I'm asking about the actual dwelling, not the
actual
garage.
dwelling, there is a existing right of way. Well, if you look at the survey, the width of the existing right of way is about, let's say, 2 meter, and the right of way end at the adjoining neighbor's fence. Then the right of way will extend to the garden suite, and the width will reduce to 1 meter for the emergency access.
So 2 meters from the east. So probably it's enough for emergency access. But your proposed garden suite on the west side is too close to the property, or is this the number you want to keep, or you want to modify the number on the west side? I'm talking about variance number 3.
Variance number 3. The variance is requiring the setback, setback on the which side?
West.
West side. So there's no access to the emergency. The setback actually is the existing one, so we don't change any wall or move any wall. Just extend like 3 feet, 2 meter higher, to reach the 4 meter at the top of the top of each side of the existing wall.
I'm not talking about the height. I'm talking about the side yard setback, not the height. So.
Because the zoning bylaw allow the exception to the setback. If there is an existing garage, and the wall could extend to 4 meter, as long as we keep the existing legally setback requirement.
Yeah, you can go 4 meter, but you went 6 meter, 4 meter to the top of the second floor, and then with the roof is 6 meter. That legally it should be. I mean, I know the staff have a condition to make sure that we tie it to that. My question was something else. So another question: does your garden suite have access from the other side or not?
That the garden suite has only the main door access at the front.
Thank you.
So, but there's 2 dormers, not dormer, 2 skylight at the rear side.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay. Any other question? Mr. Hunt has a question.
Mr. Chair, thank you. My question is an overarching one. Given the amount of opposition that we have heard today, was there any community consultation with the immediate neighbors prior to submission of the application?
No.
No. There's.
Yeah, sir, I know this is not required. However, it would have been nice to reduce the anxiety. We always suggest to people to discuss it with the neighbors, and Mr. Hunt is right. So, but is not, unfortunately, is not a requirement.
No, it was simply a question as to whether or not
Yeah.
they had prior discussions.
Yeah, and you're right. That would have been nicer and to reduce the anxieties. So, anyways, if there is no more questions, I need a motion. Miss Manning.
I'm just wondering about the report because I don't have it. When did it come in?
Which report?
You mentioned a staff report.
Staff report. Is there a staff report here? Yeah, there is a staff report that has only a condition to develop west, east, and north front elevation drawings. That's what
okay.
Yeah, that's what the staff report asked for. Just conditions. Yeah, it's in the package.
Thank you.
Okay. So, if there is no questions, can I have a motion then, please? Ms. Manning?
Through you, Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to refuse this application. I don't believe that the totality of these variances are minor. I've listened to the neighbors' complaints and concerns, and I think they're valid. That's my motion.
Thank you. Second? Mr. Hunt seconding. All in favor? Opposed? Oh, hold a second. Miss Manning to refuse. Mr. Hunt seconding. All in favor? Unanimously. Okay, thank you. Sir, your application is unanimously refused.
Okay, thank you.
Application number 13, which is 94 Latimer Avenue. Application number 13. And here we have Agostino Monteleone. Agostino Monteleone. Agostino Monteleone. Is he there? We may have to resort to Simon again. Agostino Monteleone, are you there? No, huh? Keep trying. Agostino Monteleone.
Okay, Mr. Chair, I believe we have him on the phone, but we're gonna move, he's gonna log out and log back in, so perhaps we can move on to the next item.
Thank you. Can you remind me, please? Okay, then 13. Okay, we go to number 14, which is 100 Parkhurst Avenue Boulevard, application number 14. 100 Parkhurst Boulevard, and here we have Marco Rotundo. Are you there?
Good afternoon, committee.
Yeah, hi. Could you please state your name and address so it can be recorded on the system?
Yep, I'm Marco Rotundo from Richard Wengel Architect. I'm here on behalf of the owner.
Thank you.
02
Road. We have here a second story, rear addition, one variance minor. Members, do we need any presentation? There's nothing here. No? Okay. Sir, we don't need a presentation. Do you want to say something before we move to the committee?
Nope, happy to answer any questions if there are any.
Thank you. Members, can I have Mr. Khan? Mr. Khan, please.
Motion.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, through you, sir. This is a straightforward application which is moved by me for approval.
Thank you. Second, Ms. Manning, all in favor? Thank you. Sir, your application is unanimously approved. Looks like you did.
Thank you very much.
You did a good presentation. Okay, so that's number 14.
Thank you.
We'll move on and let me know, please, about number 13. Item number 14, which is 36, Madawaska, application number 15. And this was originally was supposed to be deferred, and then they withdraw the deferral. So, Andy,
I'm here.
Okay. Could you please state your name and address?
My name is Andy Xuyao Huang, and my address is 49 Grand Hour Circuit.
Okay. And this one here, we have new dwelling, 6 variances, forestry, condition number 3. There is nothing else. Members, do we need a presentation here? No. Thank you. Sir, we don't need a presentation. Do you want to say something before we move to committee?
No, sir.
Thank you. Members, any question? If there is no question, Mr. Hunt, you had your hand. Is that for a motion? Okay, please go ahead.
Yes. I believe this is a straightforward application. It meets the 4 tests, and I would move approval without condition. No, yes, without condition.
No,
There is just
urban
forestry.
There is just forestry.
Urban forestry.
Yeah. Condition number 3. Thank you. And second, Ms. Atarodi seconding. All in favor? Thank you. Sir, your application is approved, unanimous, subject to forestry.
Thank you very much. Have a nice night.
Okay. Not yet. Number 16, which is 1600 Bayview Avenue, 1600, and application number 16, which is Saba Almato. Saba Almato, are you there?
Yes, good evening, good afternoon, Mr. Chair and committee members. My name is Saba Al-Matnu. I'm from QBS Architects, 1670 Bayview Avenue. I am the agent.
Thank you. Okay, so we have here, this is alteration to a medical office, and in the process is reducing the parking spaces. We have 5 variances, and transportation is okay with some conditions of the spaces from 2 to 1, whatever, and you have only letter of support. Now, I don't have, yeah, there is some speakers here, and therefore we need a presentation, please.
Absolutely. If you could please put the presentation provided.
Mr. Chair, she can continue. We're having technical difficulties. The browser just froze.
Oh, here with current 16. There's a problem with the current 16, yeah? Oh, okay. Okay, Miss Matino, can you please continue? Yes. Please go ahead. There is a problem. There's a problem to
Absolutely. So the existing building is a two-story mixed-use building. There is a dental office that's been in operation since 2013 by Leaside Orthodontic Center, and there is a residential unit on the second floor. The dental practice is growing, so what we are proposing here is to accommodate the second floor, acquire the second floor of the existing building into the use of the orthodontics plus an extension at the back, and generate two new residential units on the third floor. The ground floor of the building will be maintained as the part of it is for the dental office. If you could scroll down a little bit. This is the situation. One more sheet, please. Thank you so much. So this is the current situation. As you can see, it's a two-story building, one door dedicated to the dentist and a side door dedicated to the residential. This setting will be maintained. And same thing, the situation at the back. So we will maintain the existing two parking spaces on the laneway. And we will maintain a fire escape to the back. We'll just be adding a third floor. If you please scroll down one more. So these are just some existing situations showing that the access to the dental from inside and the access to the residential from the inside, showing pictures of the existing site photographs of the back. Thank you so much. You could skip these couple next pages because they are just showing the existing building footprint. This is the proposed building from the front, and the next sheet talks about the proposed from the back. We don't have any angular planes, and when we did the design, we took inspiration from an amazing building that's recently been added value to Bayview, which is a rental apartment, which is the Stack, contributed positively to our street. If you scroll down. Thank you. So three-story buildings are evident on the same street, on the same block, as you can see. Couple examples, and most of them, there are couple mixed use, there are all commercial. If we scroll. The basement will be for the medical use. If we scroll down, please. This is the proposed ground floor, the proposed second floor. So if you could zoom in onto the variances, we have a variance number one is, sorry, if you can zoom. So variance number one speaks about the barrier-free parking, which unfortunately, due to the existing situation and width of the lot being 7.62 meter and having a fire escape on the side and structure, it's impossible to provide a barrier-free parking. And transportation, as of this morning, 9:36, I had discussion with the manager, Mr. Nicolucci, and he agreed that it's impossible to provide a barrier-free parking. In lieu of that, we maintained the two parking. Originally, one was, both of them were dedicated to the dental use. After my discussion this morning with transportation, we agreed to dedicate one of them to the residential and one of them to the medical office, as they needed for loading and reloading and bringing supplies from the back, so they won't interrupt the daily operations, and noted that it's only the ground floor is a barrier free. The other 2 floors are not, because it's an existing situation for the residential. Moving to variance number 6, which is basically our second variance. Sorry, like the first sheet, we can keep that because it's an existing situation. The distance of the main wall from Bayview, we are maintaining that, which is the minimum allowable is 3 meters. We have 3.4, so the build. Sorry, and the other variances are speaking to the parking. So
okay, I think we have to. You finished your 5 minutes. Let's see what the other speaker have to say. Patrick, Elster, Johnny Gigante, are you there?
I am here.
Could you please state your name and address for us?
My name is Patrick Elster, and I live at 61 Gresham Road. I didn't realize we were actually on 1600 Bayview. That's where we're at right now?
Hello, we don't hear you. Could you? Yeah, we don't.
Yes, I'm speaking in regard to the variance request at 1600 Bayview, correct?
Right. So tell us what's your concern, please.
Well, first of all, the letter that they use in their cover letter is not correct. It says that there is, as a resident, I have several concerns. Safety is one of my concerns, and the parking spaces is a key concern. Privacy for the residents is another concern. We're talking about adding a whole 3rd story onto a space that is already just packed. I don't know if you're familiar with this alley space, but there have been 2 pedestrians that have been hit by cars in our alley space because it's so tight already, and there are so many businesses there. And for the residents, all of the business patrons, they park in front of our garages, they block us out of our homes, and the traffic is just beyond. The many times you're late for work or can't get into your home because of all of the trucks that are there now and the lack of parking spaces that are there now. So when the cover letter says there's ample parking spaces in this area, I would ask the committee to please just come look at at Bayview Avenue in between Manor and Belsize. There's absolutely no parking. It's swamped continually. All of the residential streets, the residents can't get a parking space on their own street because there's so much overcrowding parking for businesses. Now at 1600 Bayview, they're talking about adding a 3rd story, expanding the dental business, creating new residences, which is just going to create more of an impact on the parking and the safety of people coming in and out of this alley where there have already been 2 pedestrians hit, and they're not creating any additional new parking spaces. And if you look at the cover letter and they talk about all their letters of support, their letters of support are from businesses on Bayview Avenue. I don't know if they own the properties or they're people that have businesses and are renting properties, but they don't have any letters of support from the residents who live on the other side of this alley, just immediately behind the businesses. And I've spoken to all of our neighbors who are vehemently opposed to this project, and having a 3rd story, it's already 2 stories high, now adding a 3rd story on top of that, and thinking about the fact that those people can look right down into our backyards, into our homes. Like the privacy issue is another concern. So, for those primary reasons, I myself and many of my neighbors are very, very opposed to this. To create a further parking burden and ask for a variance on parking when you're expanding your business, creating new residences, and not having any allowance for an already amazingly overcrowded parking area and an alley that has proven to be extremely unsafe. The last thing I would say is when they're doing this construction, it's a one-way alley. And when they're doing this construction, right now, the parking spaces almost go all the way to the alley as it is. So when they come in to do this construction, it's going to have to block the alley, which means all of the traffic will have to flow in and out from the different sides, making an area that's already had 2 pedestrians run over in it even more dangerous, because the traffic is going to be forced on either side to go in both directions, because there's no way they can do that construction and not block that small alley space that's left there. So for all of those reasons, I really, really strongly oppose this.
Okay, so yeah, we note your opposition. Just a comment about the construction. Unfortunately, we don't control the construction here, because if they didn't have these variances, they wouldn't be here. They're here for the number of variances. As far as the number of people who are voting for them or supporting them, whether they're friends or no friends, unfortunately, this is not a referendum. We don't count how many for, how many plus. We go by the 4 tests of the Planning Act. If it fits, we approve. If it doesn't, we don't. And
I see.
So
I understand. That's specifically why I spoke to the parking.
Okay, very good. Yeah, I just want to let you know, because many people say, well, look, I have 5 supports. How come they don't approve it? Well, no, it doesn't work like that. So let's see.
I totally understand that. And I understand what the boundaries you have to work within.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So
you bet.
If there's any question for the speaker? If not, we'll get back the agent. Saba Al-Matno.
Yes, sir.
There. Okay, could you please address the concerns about the parking and the area? As I said, go over the variances and tell us which one you want to change or you want to leave them as is.
Absolutely. So if you could kindly go back to the presentation and to the page 21. I live in the neighborhood, so I hear the neighbors are concerned. But if you look at our proposal as well, we don't have any height variances. We don't have any angular plane variances. Right now, we are deficient only 1 parking and a barrier free. So what we did, thank you so much. So if you could zoom in on the page just right after. So originally we had these 2 spots maintained. They are existing to remain, and they were both to the use of the dental. Now, one of these units the residential units will have a parking spot, and one will be dedicated for the dental. And this will reduce even our variance from the allowable is 2. We are providing 1, so we will be asking only 1 spot. Also, we have provided a parking study done by a professional consultant proving that there is enough parking in the neighborhood for the purpose of the dental office. In terms of privacy, we could definitely, for the 3rd floor, we could provide like screening, although this is like not a variance, but definitely we would like to enhance the privacy of both the 3rd floor units and the neighbors. And as I mentioned, there is no height variance, there is no overlook, there is no GFA variances. And we worked closely with planning. We've been working for about a year with the planning department, and they have no objection. Actually, like they are in support of our application.
Okay. Can you please expand on the transportation that they said it's okay, the spaces from 2 to 1, provided it complies with variances 7, 8. You have only 5 variances. Could you go over that report with us?
The transportation, I don't know if you are able to put the transportation comment.
Well, from what you remember, what you discussed with the transportation.
From this morning, yes, exactly what I got from Luigi. It said, we acknowledge that the site width 7.62 does not allow for provision of 2 side-by-side parking spaces, with one of them being accessible parking space. As such, transportation services is comfortable with the provision of 2 standard parking spaces for the project as shown in the attached architectural drawing. And I don't think this will create other variances. But it will be determined by the committee staff in consultation with Toronto Building. This was as of 9:30 this morning, and Simon was copied on this.
Okay, thank you. Members, any question? Mr. Khan?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you, sir, I want to ask the architect representing the 5 variances here. Madam, did you happen to see, I mean, you mentioned you spoke to the manager of transportation services this morning, but
yes.
did you see transportation letter of March 20, 2023?
Exactly. This is based on that, because this letter also, like my other colleagues, that came very late. So finally, I was able to speak with the manager of transportation this morning, 9:30 a.m., and we came up with this solution together.
My question, madam, to you is through the chair.
Yes.
The letter suggests to amend site plan. Are you prepared to amend the site plan?
Yes, I have, and I have sent him a copy. We just labeled one parking dedicated to the dental, one parking dedicated to the residential, and he deemed it acceptable.
But that plan has not been seen by the planning staff. Has it been?
Mr. Simon Lam, he was copied on my correspondence this morning with them. It's exactly the same. It's just the labeling from one for the dental, one for residential, and that's it. The exact same size, exact everything.
Yeah.
We don't have that information, madam.
Unfortunately, I don't know how I can get it to you, but Mr. Lam was copied on it, and it's subject to transportation.
Yeah, there was a report lately, and I'll ask the staff here, Mr. Simon, to complete.
Through you, Mr. Chair, I know I received some emails, but it's highly inappropriate sometimes to receive last-minute correspondence. It's very difficult as we are very busy in the morning trying to set up a meeting. So any correspondence that comes in 45 minutes, half an hour, even an hour before a hearing, it's very hard to digest.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, yeah. The transportation also should be told that. Yeah, okay. I know, at the last minute. Okay, any other question?
I'm actually just looking for guidance from Simon, maybe about, like, can we tie this to a site plan that is to be approved by transportation? Like, how do we do this if we can't see the site plan?
I would not recommend doing anything that you are not comfortable with, or have a visual with, or have received a transportation memo that said it was okay.
That's right.
I think it opens you up to sort of guesswork at this point. I acknowledge we received something, but again, correspondence that comes in the morning is very difficult to disseminate, and in all fairness, to allow committee time to review it.
That's right. And the one we had on file, it said okay 2 to 1 to comply with variance. So that was also confusing. So anyways, you're free to make a motion. Mr. Khan?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Things are a little bit unclear because we don't have exactly the decision from the transportation services, and I see all these 5 variances as not meeting the zoning bylaws as well as the official plan. And also I have heard that the safety matter is there and parking is tight, and even the local people have difficulty moving in and out, and there are 2 fatalities reported by the resident. In light of that, I feel that this is not the appropriate proposal to be accepted by me, and I move that this application be refused.
Okay, thank you. So we have a first motion to refuse. Second? We don't have a second? Okay, can I have another motion then? Yeah, I can't tell them what. Okay, members, okay, Miss Manning. Miss Manning, please go ahead.
Through you, Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to defer this application. I don't think we have everything before us that we need to make this decision.
Thank you.
So I'm personally not. Thank you.
And Sanidai, right? Sanidai.
Tiny die, that's correct.
Thank you. And Mr. Hunt is seconding, yeah? Okay. Mr. Hunt is seconding. All in favor? Unanimous. Okay. Your application is deferred sine die. Check with the staff when it's coming back, and you have to discuss with transportation and so on.
Thank you.
Thank you. He's good. Okay, perfect. Okay. All right. Agostino Monteleone, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Going back to 13 now.
Sorry, hold a second. Hold a second. I have to remember. What did you say, member?
Sir, I was asking, are we going back to number 13 now?
Now we're in number 13. Yeah, I didn't announce it yet. Number 13, we have 94 Latimer Avenue, and we have here Mr. Agostino Monteleone. Are you there?
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Chairman.
Could you please state your name and address for us?
My name is Agostino Monteleone. I'm from Antec Engineering, and I'm here on behalf of the property owners. We are located at 1500 Royal York Road, Unit 48 in Etobicoke.
Thank you. So we have here, this is for a second story rear addition, 1 variance minor, and that's it. There is nothing else. Members, do we need a presentation here? It's number 13, 94 Latimer. No? Thank you. Sir, we don't need any presentation here. Did you want to say something else before we move to committee? Sir,
I'm sorry, I had difficulty hearing that. Can you repeat that, please?
We don't need a presentation here. Do you want to say something before we go to committee to make a decision?
No, I think we're good on our end.
Thank you. Okay. Members, Ms. Manning, can I have a motion?
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair, I think this is a very minor application with 1 variance. I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Thank you. Ms. Tarodi seconding. All in favor?
With no conditions.
Yeah, there's no condition. Condition 0. Thank you. Okay, sir, your application is unanimously approved with no conditions.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're in number 17. That's the last one for the morning. Okay, application number 17, which is 53 Covington Road, application number 17. And here we have Richard Idell. Are you there?
I am, Mr.
Is this the one you said you wanted to defer?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, you want to defer it for what reason?
Sine die, and because it was also last minute, request from the planning department that they were not supporting it because of the side, one of the variances, actually the side yard variance.
Okay.
Seems like they're very,
Okay.
yeah, so, well, we have to redesign.
To discuss with the staff. Okay. All right.
No, we have to redesign.
Redesign. Okay. Members, the request is to defer sine die in order to redesign the application. Ms. Manning, is okay with, please go ahead.
Yeah, through you, Mr. Chair, I think this is a sufficient reason. Motion to defer.
Sine die, yeah. Okay. Second. Sine die, thank you. Second is Ms. Satarodi. All in favor? Thank you. Unanimous. Okay, sir, your application is deferred sine die, and you can check with the staff when it's coming back.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. What time is it? Okay, 1:30, so we resume at 2 o'clock as usual. Well, half an hour. I don't know. Let me ask them.